Alright, so now we're going to show how to connect to the SQL Server database on Azure, right? So last video we showed you using Visual Studio here. Right. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you we can also come to tools here and open Visual Studio, right? So that's pretty much the same thing. When you hit open in, it's going to launch Visual Studio for you and do the connection for you. So it's important that you need to install Visual Studio on your machine first. Okay. And it's going to do some configuration to connect to the database on Azure right there. Alright, so this is a shorter way than last video that I showed you how to manually connecting with the ADO or ODBC. Alright, so you just need to provide password to the database. And click on connect. Because the connection string is filled for you already, like server name, and authentication type is SQL Server Authentication, username, database name is filled for you in this case. You only need to provide a password. And it's going to take some time to connect. Alright, so after it's connected, it just expand the database for you. And here's the database, right? So database by default is going to create that system file and external tables for you. What you need to do, you need to add a new table, which we're going to create a user table. Alright, so we're going to right click on the tables and have to add new table. Like some of you may not have to add new tables. What you need to do is you need to install the SQL Server tool. You can just Google for that SQL Server tool, or just say I don't see that add table options on Visual Studio. It's going to show you instruction how to download and do that. So once you get that, then it's going to have the template for you as a table. Then you can just insert, right, the table on that. So let me show you the link in case you not see at table. So you need to SQL Server tools, right, for Visual Studio. So depending on the version of Visual Studio, you just pick the version that you have. SQL Server Data Tools. So this is where you want to download it. Okay, download SQL Server Data Tools. If you do not see the add tables, okay, once you right click and on the tables, like you normally have to see it if you have that tools after install it. Alright, so now it's just loading. So since it's connecting to that Azure remotely, so it depending on your internet connections, it may be slow or fast. So after we get it connected, then we can verify, we add the tables, create new table, and then we can start to write the code. So I'm going to switch to the coding part. So I have my code on OneDrive, so let me log on to OneDrive. And we're going to show you how to use PHP, okay, to connect to the database. So click on the apps, and I'm going to go to the Java tutorial, and we need to create a PHP code. So I'm going to write a PHP code. Alright, so to get the code, you can click on connection strings here and go to PHP, because we can use PHP, right? So we need to copy this. Okay, that's the code for PHP. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna paste the code on my notepad. You can just put on any text editors, but if this is PHP, you have to, it's just a partial code here, but you need to sliding with question mark PHP. Okay, like that is a tag for PHP, and question mark and init. So that's PHP code, which I'm going to save this. Okay, I'm going to name it PHP2SQLServer.php, right? Like test. Okay, we want to test the connection. Test PHP2SQLServer.php. So let's save this file. I'm going to upload this to OneDrive. So go back to our OneDrive. I need to sign in first. And the apps, go to Java tutorial, upload files from pretty much the files that I just typed. So it's under PHP. To SQL Server and upload this file. Alright, so what we're going to do now, once it's uploaded, we can test this. I'm going to modify my index.html a little bit. I'm going to create a simple link to link to that page. So I'm going to write code at the bottom here, like BRs, like new line, and then ahref equals to, actually if this is a form, actually I can just do input here action equals to PHP, pressure file name that I just upload there, PHP, I think it's a test PHP2SQLServer.php. So when you hit submit button, that button, I should call that. So I need to have input type equals to, let's say, submit, and value. I'm gonna just use submit. So I'm adding two buttons, but we're gonna use that submit in order to talk to this and we need to add action equals to post. Okay, so that's 3 things that we have to do. I'm actually not action. So it actually has to be method. Okay, but this can be omitted. Method equal to post. Now we're going to save this file and go to our project app, right, web app, and sync it to test the connection to the server now. And that is Java2. That's the database name. We want to go to the web app right there, Java tutorial web app, and we go to deployment options and do the sync for the 2 new codes, right, that we change, index and the PHP test PHP2 server. All right, when it's synced, now we're going to just go back to the link here, Java tutorial, website.net. By the way, that's one thing that we have to change. We have to allow, right? Otherwise, we have to set up the firewall to allow the connections. So let's go back to the database. So this is the database. And we're going to have to set the server firewall. And this is the IP that I'm using. I'm checking 164.106.75.242. Okay, we have to allow this IP because there's a firewall to protect. So it's already allowed, so that should be okay. Now we go back and look at my code to make sure it's show the right one. Index, log in to create your new post. Okay. Now go to this. It's not showing that file, so let me see if I type. So let me verify that the file is correct one. Okay. Yep. So I need to switch back and make sure we sync it again and refresh. Okay, so it works now after resync it. So if it's resync not updated, you just need to disconnect and reconnect it back. Like it was not updated, now it's the latest time. So we can test now, but hit submit is going to take me to the test. Right. Now it's not doing it, so that means, oh, it's doing it. Just wait. So there's an error connection. Switch. We have to look at our code here. So what does it do? At that point, it's called this file. And if there's an error connecting to database, so it's go out. Which it should, because I didn't ever provide a password. Right, this is the password that you need to provide. Alright, for the sake of our class here, since some of you may having issue with the expired on your Microsoft Azure license, and you don't have